Hi everybody, welcome. We're going to go over a quick video on how to foam roll just for overall increasing flexibility and circulation throughout the body. So the first one we're going to do on the level so you can kind of see what I do with my back. And so essentially what you want to do is lean back into that roll, have your feet in a nice active position, and first you start with a C-shaped spine and you just kind of curl and you roll it down, keeping your C-shaped spine. Okay. Number two, as you lay over the foam roller, you want to try to relax your body, and so it kind of loosely goes over the foam roller. So everything stays nice and relaxed, and essentially you're just kind of going over the spine just to increase mobility. Okay. And then what I like to do, what I started to do recently, is actually bending side to side as I stretch each section. So as I go to each vertebra, I essentially open it up side to side as I work each section. So go up about an inch or so, and you just want to stretch as far as you can. Make sure it's even on both sides. So that's been a nice way to open up the joints of the vertebra as well as the ribs. For this next section, I'm going to go over kind of the whole body foam roller, right? So you do the spine, nice C shape, you go relaxed over it, okay? And then once you kind of finish the spine, then you go to the hips. I like to start with the legs crossed, and so you can kind of work the glute muscles back there, the piriformis muscle, just to kind of open them up. I like also flossing side to side, just to try to get that flexibility in that low back. So you just keep working it back and forth, and you find those little spots that are a little bit more tender. You can also flex this way and pull it towards you, just to try to floss that femur head as it goes into the pelvis, just to kind of work the tissue a little deeper. Again, if you feel a sensitive spot, just work that a few times over. And then I like to roll face down, all the way flat and all the way back, just to get into that TFL muscle. It's kind of right where your hip pocket usually lies on your pair of pants. Okay? And then what I like to do is kind of roll to the front, bringing the front of that TFL muscle, getting into the quad and the whole outside of the leg. And you can kind of roll pelvis flat just to try to get a different depth to it. Then you can bend the leg and do that quad all the way down to your knee. And then I like to roll completely around. So I'm straddling it, getting that adductor muscle in the hip flexor. If it feels good, you can actually lay on it right at the hip and just let your lower back stretch as well. Be careful with that, as some people may have what's called a spondy, where the vertebra is slipped forward in the low back. That can be quite uncomfortable. As you're stretching that pelvis back, that vertebra is going to slide forward and it can increase your pain. So be sure to, if you don't know, maybe get some x-rays or something like that of your low back to ensure that's not what's going on for you. Then you want to switch sides and do the same thing. And then I like to do a stretch with the neck. So I get to the shoulders, I bridge over, touch the floor with my head, and then I add traction with my hands, not on my chin, but on the sides of my face. And then I let my hips relax back to the floor, stretch, relax, and that allows for a nice decompression of the neck as well. You can also add in some traps, so you can bring your shoulders to the underside, and then stretch your neck and head, and then work the trap muscles, rotating slightly over, just getting different angles of those trap muscles as they go over the neck and shoulders. You can also work the underarm. Very sensitive for most people, so I don't often tell people to do this weight bearing. So take a load off by dropping your hip down and just kind of work the underarm of that armpit, back of that shoulder, even into the front of the chest, rolling. You can even roll to the biceps. Switch sides here. So as you roll chest, getting into that biceps as well. as all the fascia from the hands go up the arm into the neck, chest area. So when you have a lot of tension from working all day or doing whatever you're doing, that will help open up and stretch that fascia through that whole line. Another aspect I like to work on is the QL muscles. So this is between your rib cage and your pelvis, okay? This is often gets very tight for a lot of people that sit all day because their hip flexors get tight. And so these muscles will kind of spasm as they kind of try to stabilize your low back in a seated position all day long. So that's why it's good to have a sit, stand, desk and go back and forth. So for this, what I like to do is go straight perpendicular to the roller, and you want to stretch open on that side, that low back. You can bend the leg as well to get the femur head along the parallel with the roller, and then just stretch over it and then stretch that very low back. Be careful with this one, take your time. If you're not real upper body strong, this might be difficult to do. So it can be kind of considered an advanced technique. Just try to open and stretch that side body as well. Lastly, I like to use the hamstrings. And so you can do, I like to kind of go with my fingertips just to give myself some spaces. I'm not the most flexible person on the planet, but you just kind of roll those hamstrings. You can do one at a time by lifting one side. Okay, you can also do the inside of the hamstring by just kind of tilting your pelvis underneath. And then you can also roll forward to the shins. This one feels really comfortable. I enjoy this a lot, to roll the shins out there. That feels good. Sometimes they get pretty beat up, especially after I wear flip-flops. So you kind of roll those sides out. And for the calves, I don't really find the foam roller to be very effective for the calf muscles. You can do it the same way as the hamstrings, but I prefer doing more lengthening of the calves through stretching like on a stairway or something like that. So there you go. There's the foam roller video in a nutshell. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please reach out. Leave a comment below. See you next time.